Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
Today we're back for our third and final part of our little series of naming the ranking our...
We're naming them.
We're naming and ranking the 31 top civilizations in Tapestry. So all of them that are currently available to us.
Yes. Hopefully we'll have to redo this list multiple times when they continue to release 20 more every year.
Just low expectations there. Yeah, so hopefully, if you're watching this, you've watched our first and second parts of these.
Yep.
I would definitely go check out the last part for sure, because your number one was in there.
Yeah.
So you'll have to go
up two
check.
fingers for some reason, but they were two number ones.
My number one is in this list, so you'll want to keep listening to this too. But maybe go back, watch all of those, and then come back right now to continue watching this. But yeah, we're into our final top,
we have top 11.
Yes, that's why you're putting up two fingers earlier.
That's right.
But really, the first three are all
They're
tied.
all tied. So this is, we were thinking, where do we put this extra one? Because it's not going to be a 10-10-10. And it just happened to be that these bottom three tied, bringing this to 11.
Mm-hmm.
So
it worked out for us.
Nice. And to break those ties, we just gave the one that had the higher individual ranking, and we bumped that one up.
Because we both individually ranked these, and then we took the averages of our ranks to get this final ranking, not necessarily of the ones we think are the strongest and weakest, but just maybe our favorite ones to play.
Yep. And we've only had one crossover so far. We've only ranked one game the same. So we'll see if we can get another one.
But yeah, for that one
list,
you'll have to actually go check out part one. So if you haven't done that already, and that opportunity I granted you, you'll have to go check that out to see which one we thought the same about.
Yeah. So starting off with our number 11, the bottom three are actually tied with an average of 12 apiece. Number what would it be?
9.
Number 9. Yep.
9.
Yep. First number 9, I gave it 11, or gave it 13th place. You gave it 11. Obviously, average 12. They are the entertainers.
Yes, and there is a little chart on the entertainers. So they seek to spread their influence by entertaining various sectors of society. So you'll start with a player token on the far left of this chart, and at the beginning of your income turns 2 through 5, you get to advance the token one space to the right along a path and gain the benefit. If you gain the civilization in the middle of the game, start with a player token on any space here and gain that benefit. So sort of you start on the left, as it said. The first spaces that you're going to be able to pick from are any of the 4 resources, so you get to kind of choose which one you'd maybe want an extra one of. And then from there, there's kind of little lines going off of each of those resources that connect you to 2 options for buildings later on. So that'll be each of the 4 different income building types. Then from there, there's more intertwining, going to different ones, of going into benefits of conquering, rolling the science die without benefit, a tech card, and playing an exploration tile. And then those go into the final column of advancing once on one of the 4 tracks. So that's one of any of the 4 tech, exploration, military, or science tracks. So this one's one where you're always getting something good. It could take a little bit of planning if you kind of want specific ones, because, like I said, they're only after your first choice, you're kind of just connected to 2 things, and then that's connected to 2 things, and then that's connected to 2 as well.
Yeah, it is interesting how none of the kind of the resource goes to a certain track, which has a certain benefit, a certain income building, and none of those ever really tie together. Like the brown mushroom doesn't connect to the brown building doesn't connect to the exploration tile doesn't really connect to the exploration track. So it's interesting there that you can't really combo it, but like, other than the science die without a benefit, which actually could be pretty good because that's pretty late, so it could actually advance you on a very expensive spot on a track that maybe you didn't actually really want to gain the benefit for. But other than that, all of these are fantastic benefits. There's not like a gain a tile or gain a tapestry card, which if you've watched the previous videos, tapestry cards, gaining them doesn't really excite us in the game. But yeah, all of these, from resources to buildings to benefits and advancing on a track, all of those are fantastic benefits.
Yeah, they all feel so fun. Yeah, I'd still love if that was rolled the die
if it was,
go up, because there is a chance that you might. Usually, it seems like in Tapestry, you have at least one track that you're a little further behind, if not barely started at all. At least how we play it. And I'm sure, like, it's almost a group think at this point. Maybe other people are keeping all their tracks even. I don't know. But how we play it, we usually have one behind. So there is always that risk that you roll that track and get that benefit, which may be a tapestry card or something very small, very minimal. So I wish it did give the benefit, but overall, everything else, all the other 15 benefits, I really, really love.
For sure.
So just might take a little bit of planning, so it could potentially throw you off.
Next up, I gave this a 10 in my top 10. You gave it 14th place, and they are the Heralds.
Yes, the Heralds proclaim their achievements worldwide. You start with 4 player tokens here. If you start the game with this civilization at the end of your first income turn, you may play a tapestry card on top of the Maker of Fire space. So usually you don't get to do that. At the beginning of your income turns 2 through 5, you may move a player token from here to any when played tapestry card, yours or an opponent's, and gain the benefit of that card. Each tapestry may have at most 1 token. So, yeah, that's when played tapestry cards can be really solid.
Yes, they can be huge.
There's some that aren't as good, but typically they're giving you something decent, and I really like that because sometimes you yourself may not have a great tapestry card, but then with this you're at least getting maybe a good benefit from someone else. But there is a chance too that there may just not be when played ones out.
Yeah, so with lower player counts, it might not happen, or maybe they'll just choose not to play those. But if you yourself are gaining them, then you can gain those possibly great benefits multiple times, which is really awesome. And I love that you get to play a card on the Maker of Fire. Just feels like if you get this era, you can just start benefiting from your tapestry card in the first era, which no one else gets to do. It's just really, really awesome. I've always liked this one. Had like one bad experience where those didn't come out, the when played abilities, but every other one there's usually been something to do, and you usually get a couple really good ones throughout the game.
Yeah, I think because honestly, most players are going to probably play their good ones if they have them. They might try to avoid it as long as possible if they know you have this, but I feel like you typically don't get so many tapestry cards that you just have the luxury to be like, well, this one actually just benefits me, but these are all really good, really great tapestry cards. Usually, it seems like there are definitely games where you can get lucky and have all of them that just are great for you. You just are getting lucky. But yeah, typically it seems like if you're lucky, you might have one, and it may just happen to be when played, and it could be good for them too. And most of the time, I think you're just going to play it. Just because otherwise you might have something else that does absolutely nothing for you. You might as well try to advance it, because they're only going to get to do this when they're doing their income turn too. So maybe you outlasted them, and maybe now they've got a long time before they're going to be able to use it anyway. And maybe you're even close to possibly playing a tapestry card on top of it, and then maybe you can play over when played. So they're very solid.
The next one is a little bit more of a gap between our two rankings. I put it 17th, and you put it 7th, and they are the Isolationists.
Yeah, so the Isolationists just want to be left alone. Start with 4 player tokens here, so there's a little spot for them. Whenever you conquer an empty territory, you may place one of these tokens there in addition to your outpost, preventing that territory from being conquered in the future. If you do, also gain a resource. And then on your final income turn, score for the largest connected landmass of the same terrain type you control. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 connected landmass, different tiles, you get 5, 10, 16, 23, 31, or 40 points. So yeah, I think this one got some good memories with it. I think this. Yep. I don't remember if this was the first one that I played. It feels like it was.
Yeah, I remember playing this in one of the first
very
ones,
early,
for me at least.
Yeah, I think it was one of my first games, so I think it's just got a little bit of nostalgia for me. It may not be the greatest thing, but it gives you a way to get an additional resource when you're conquering, so you could possibly be conquering, hopefully gaining a resource if you're lucky, and then possibly, with this, you can gain another one and kind of cut people off from conquering you, so you can kind of gain that. And I feel like it just gives you a little bit of a path. Usually, I would say I'm not that concerned with how I'm placing tiles.
Yeah.
Because it's usually you can get 2 to 4 points typically.
Yeah. Yep.
Somewhere in there, it's going to be most of the time when you're placing tiles. But this at least gets you to kind of be thinking, okay, so I'm going to try to connect this grassland or whatever.
Yeah.
Try to get it so that I can open this up a little bit more and keep playing tiles off of that. And then it just gives you a good chunk of points at the end if you can hopefully get 6 kind of connected.
Yeah, that does add a little more without making it too complicated for your tile placement, which really isn't there in any other civilization. They don't really add too much to that. There are placing tokens out on the board, but nothing really to do with the land types, the terrain types. Right. Although there is one that does.
I think there's a
tapestry card that has to do with that, but I do like exploring that a little more. Yeah, good. So those are 3 base game civilizations tied at 9th place, but we are going into a plans and ploys civilization, and we are not in agreement here. You have this 3rd ranked,
wow,
and I have it 20th.
And
they are the Riverfolk.
Riverfolk. It's probably one of my favorite looking artwork on any of these.
For sure.
But the Riverfolk view floating water as more.
He's like, I don't even know what benefit they have.
I don't even know. I just saw the art, and I probably don't remember what. I'll be like, why did I put this number 3? The Riverfolk view flowing water as a more viable place for building than firm land. Start with 4 victory points per district in your capital city with at least 2 impassable plots. You may place buildings on impassable plots of land in your capital city. Impassable plots still help the Riverfolk complete districts, rows, and columns. Whenever you cover the last impassable plot in a district, gain a resource. The benefit does not apply in districts with no impassable plots. On your final income turn, lose 1 victory point per visible impassable plot. If you gain a civilization in the middle of the game, you may discard it and gain another. The capital city, if you've watched the other 2 of these videos, you know the capital city is one of my favorite parts of Tapestry, and this just kind of opens up the capital city even more, where you're able to fill in even more things, and it just helps you. Some of the mats are a little bit more difficult than others. I think this opens that up. I would say, which one is it? I think it's the swamp or something that I feel like is just seems more difficult than the other ones, and I think this one would at least work with that one a little bit more, where you could use maybe some of your big landmarks to cover up those impassable.
Like a 3x3 landmark can fill a district no matter what then.
Right.
And you're probably going to get 2 resources.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Right, because if you had at least one impassable plot there, you'll get 2 for that, which is awesome. And then starting with extra points. I don't know that I typically like the thought of that necessarily, but I do like that a lot more than you start with extra resources or something like that, and then you still lose those at the end if you have any, or not. You don't lose the same amount necessarily, but you can lose points at the end. So,
which I think makes it feel better that you lose some, because you did gain some.
Mm-hmm. And I don't remember. It's been a little while since I've played these. How many How many points do you typically start with this one?
I think there's probably at least 6
Yeah, I can't
districts.
remember exactly. That's what
So maybe 20 or 24 points.
Yeah, something like that. So it is a big chunk of points, but yeah, I just really
it
like
is going to. It could also be a little bit of a distraction trying to cover
That's
those
true.
up, and maybe filling less and getting less lines and columns because you're focusing on covering up those spaces instead of
Right.
all the empty ones.
Right, but I think I enjoy something like this more than which may be in our first video, the architects, where you're
Yep.
kind of trying to plan out putting certain buildings and stuff in certain areas. I really, really love this compared to that,
Yep.
by miles. So
Yeah. Yep. So from one plans employs civilization. I always want to say expansion. From one expansion to another. From one civ to another from plans employs. I have this one 14th. You have it 8th. And they are the treasure hunters.
Yes. So the treasure hunters look for riches wherever they go, and they seek to protect their valuables from other civilizations. Start with 4 player tokens here and gain 2 territory tiles. And at the beginning of your income turns 2 through 5, you may place a player token from here on an empty territory adjacent to a territory you control that displays the listed terrain type. This is not a conquer action, but you now control the territory. Gain the corresponding treasure. So if you place on a desert space, so I guess this one kind of
Yeah, it does kind of
do that. You gain a food. I don't remember what the resource. Yellow resource.
Gain a coin.
Gain a coin. Then roll the black conquer dice twice and gain one of the benefits of your choice. If you put it on one with a mountain, you gain a gray guy. Then roll the conquer dice and gain both benefits. Is that worker?
Orker. Yep.
Yes. Grassland, you gain a. I forgot it again.
Culture.
Culture, then roll the research die twice and gain one benefit of your choice. And the forest, gain a mushroom, then roll the red conquer dice twice and gain both benefits. Yeah, I think this one gives you a little bit more of a reason, kind of like the other one, to focus on the tiles that you have, just so you're able to get these benefits. And I think they're fun bonuses.
Yep.
They each give you a resource at a minimum, and then you kind of get some additional bonuses based on rolling those different dice. I really like rolling dice, and this just gives you one more reason to roll those, which I just find a lot of fun. Yeah. And it lets you control a little bit more territory too.
Yeah.
Kind of move around the board a little bit quicker, possibly.
Yeah, for sure. Just getting a base resource. And then possibly, rolling the black die, getting another resource, possibly an income building, rolling, you get to roll the black die twice, gain one benefit, red die twice, gain both the benefits, roll both of them once, gain both the benefits. So possible more resources or a bunch of points, and then the research die, science die.
That could be really good.
Twice and get the benefit of the roll, which is really awesome.
So yeah, I just find those to be a lot of fun because I really like when you get to roll the dice in this game. It's never enough.
Never. And then on to number 6, which is a base game civilization.
It's the highest ranked base game.
It is the highest ranked base game civilization. I have this 8th, and you have it 13th, which is not that great for 16 base game civilizations for that to be the best.
That's true.
But they are the militants.
Yeah, so the militants seek to reap the benefits of the territories they control. So you start with your 8 outposts covering the spaces on this card. Whenever you conquer, take an outpost from the far left of either of the rows here at the beginning of your income turn to gain all the exposed benefits. If you gain a civilization in the middle of the game, place your remaining outposts on these spaces from right to left. You choose the row for each outpost. So, yeah, this one's kind of got a little bit of, you've got the 8 different spots here. You got 2 different rows. So the top row has a benefit of a coin, so the yellow resource, then 2 points, then the mushroom resource, then 4 points. The bottom one has the 1 point and then a gray worker resource. and then 3 points, and then the Red Star Culture resource. And like it said, you get to pull them from left to right, and you can choose which ones to go from. I just find this a lot of fun, being able to get, like, this one, to me, compared to maybe one that we mentioned in the last video that may have ranked a little higher for you, was it what I'm blanking, historians, right?
Yep.
So the historians kind of have a similar thing where you're pulling off for benefits.
Yep.
These ones, it's kind of in a specific order that you can do it, sort of. You get a little bit of choice, but
So worse than historians in that way.
but I feel like you're working towards it a little bit more,
Yeah.
and it kind of interacts with one of the things that you're doing, actually going out and conquering, so it actually feels like you're doing something to get these off of here, which is also, I find that a lot funner than like if it had said, move one of these outposts out to whatever. Maybe you could do that in addition, but I really like what this one does.
Yeah, I think this one does the best job of giving direction to your game, because it's like, you got to conquer. You've got 8 of your tokens here, which is all of them, I assume.
Yep.
And you got to go out and you got to conquer. You're going to go up that track. There's no way around it, unless you do get like really amazing Tapestry cards and tech cards to get that. I would be interested to see if someone did that. I don't know.
And didn't go for any of this.
That's true. But yeah, it just gives you a great direction and just the additional income. This is one of the times where I don't actually mind the low point amounts. It still feels good to get that, to get maybe 6 or 7 points in an income.
Right.
Because it just feels like something additional there.
Right.
And to possibly get 2 or 3 extra resources during an income, which, I mean, that's exactly what you're trying to do. You go and conquer once in the first round, and you're getting an extra resource in your next income, which is the same as getting one of those buildings off. It's great.
And you're hopefully rolling and getting resources that way, too. So it's a lot of either, I guess you could be taking the points, the amount of points, or the resources. You'd just be getting a lot of that by just powering up that military track. So, yeah, it's definitely, I guess I don't know all of these, but yeah, this one definitely is one that pushes your game, I feel, probably the most out of almost any of these.
For sure.
So, yeah.
So yeah, like we said, that was the last base game civilization. So the highest, it couldn't even get into the top 5. But number 5 is from the Plans and Ploys expansion. I had it number 5, you had it number 6, and they are the Recyclers.
Yes, so the Recyclers take used technology and make it new again. Start by gaining 3 tech cards from the deck, discard 2, and keep 1. Place it in your bottom row. You may not upgrade it during your first income turn. At the beginnings of your income turns 2 through 5, you may upgrade a tech card. This is in addition to the standard upgrade during each of those income turns. When upgrading, the Recyclers may upgrade a card from the top row back down to the bottom row. And whenever you do this, gain 5 points. When gaining a tech card, you may choose from the tech discard pile.
Nice. I'm just imagining if you got another Civ and got the Inventors with the Recyclers and get 3 upgrades every income turn. I want to see it happen.
It would be pretty cool.
But yeah, this one is, I feel like they've kind of replaced, or not replaced, but are kind of the hot new version of the Inventors, giving you an additional upgrade, starting you off with a tech card, being able to upgrade from top to bottom and gain those benefits again, which could possibly give you more income buildings or anything, really. It's just so fun. Like I said in one of the other videos when we talked about the Inventors, I just love getting those additional upgrade actions, because sometimes you have a lot of great ones, but you have really no hope of actually getting them all to the top benefit, and this way you can.
Yeah, I would agree. I think kind of like the Militants, this one maybe not quite as much, because you could get some tech cards without totally just focusing on just going up the tech track, but I think this one kind of pushes you towards going up the tech track as your main thing. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a goal to kind of work towards, so that you have a lot of options to be kind of upgrading, since you get 2 each time. They're a solid one. Tech technology cards can have some really solid benefits,
for sure.
and being able to upgrade multiple times just feels really satisfying and fun.
Yep. And I like that where the inventors, their kind of special thing was they could ignore prerequisites, but that's only during their upgrade. This one says you can upgrade them from the top to the bottom of the row, gave 5 points, and that's whenever you upgrade, not just during that specific one.
Exactly.
But yeah, we have another Plans Employees expansion Civ here, and this is my number 9 and your number 1. So we're finally hitting your number 1. They are the Spies.
Ooh, the Spies.
Of course you choose the Spies.
The Spies use subterfuge and deception to... How do you say that?
No, that's right. I was just
And deception
laughing at
to leech
your
information
favorite Civ.
from neighboring nations. I am the Spies. That is me with the fedora or hat there that he's got on. At the beginnings of your income turns 2 through 5, you may place a player token on one of the unselected options here to gain the corresponding benefit from a neighboring player of your choice. If you do, you may request to see the chosen neighbor's hand of Tapestry cards. They must show it to you. So your possibilities here are gain the benefits of a when-played Tapestry card on a neighbor's income mat, which kind of is another Civ ability.
The heralds we had talked about a little bit, kind of copy it when played. So get a little bit of that. Might be a reason it's a little higher.
Gain the benefit of a neighbor's current position on any advancement track, no bonus. So that could be very solid.
I mean, obviously, one of our favorite spots is get 2 free advancements. On some of the other tracks, one of the later spots in the science track, which is the first thing that comes to mind when I hear copy an opponent's spot.
Right.
On an advancement track. Love that.
Gain the benefit on a territory or space tile in a neighbor's supply.
Space tiles, love it. Income buildings on those little mats or on those tiles. Good stuff.
Or gain the benefit of a neighbor's tech card matching its current row. Landmark benefits do nothing. So it's just a lot of really fun stuff. It's just cool how they just were like, okay, we're gonna have you copy opponent stuff, which makes sense for the Spies, but then they just were like, and we're just gonna choose some really awesome things. They all feel really awesome, and I think that's why. I guess you could argue that you're not really doing much for this either. But this one I think takes a little bit more because like some of these matter on, like you said you immediately thought of waiting for maybe an opponent to get up on that science track to go up possibly. And then you have to time it just right. You have to be like, okay, well, I got to take my income now because they're on that spot. And like there may be a win played benefit that's like, it's pretty good, but should I wait for one later? And then, there might be, like you said, might be a building tile, but it's like, but whoever's going up that exploration track pretty far, they're my neighbor, should I wait for a space tile?
And if you get a game against the aliens, they're going to have those space tiles in their supply already.
Right. So that could be pretty awesome, and then that'd give you something to just get off the bat right away, because a lot of these are going to be, they're all better later on in the game, which makes it tough to decide.
That's what's so freaking hard. Last time I played them, I'm like, I want to save this for later. I want to save this for later. I want to save this for later. I want to save all these for later.
Yeah, but no, that's why I think it's probably my favorite one, just because it could be so wacky, it could be really powerful.
Yeah.
You could have very bad luck, and maybe your neighbors just suck and don't have anything good for you to spy on.
That's true.
But hopefully, I don't know, maybe in a 2-player game this one wouldn't be as good.
The when played, I think, if that also included your own, just because that might not exist on an opponent's mat.
Right.
Well, so, let's make it even better. It's already our number 1. Let's make it better.
Let's make it even better, and you can include your own stuff. Spy on yourself. Infiltrate your own people.
Just how sneaky you are.
Right, but no.
It's really great, all of those benefits.
It's a lot of fun.
And now a third Plans Employees Civilization in a row. This is number 3. I had it number 4. You had it number 5.
It's actually the top-ranked Plans Employee one.
Yes, which tells you something about our top 2. These are the Tinkerers.
Yes. The Tinkerers are masters of time and technology. If you start the game with the Tinkerers, each opponent gains a tech card from the deck, placing it in their bottom row. They may not upgrade tech cards during their first income turns. At the beginnings of your income turns 2 through 5, you may place a player token on one of the unselected options here and act accordingly. Unless otherwise noted, do not gain the advancement benefits or bonuses as a result of these player token manipulations. So that first part already, when you're giving out tech cards, that could be really good for your opponents potentially, if they get the right card. But yeah, you can. Some of your options are: choose one of your advancement tokens, gain resources equal to the cost of advancing into its current position.
I mean, like 3 resources.
So
possibly.
potential of 3, but you could probably at least get 2.
For what the tier it is, it's pretty much giving you a free advancement possibly on that same tier to the next spot.
Exactly. So yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's pretty much giving you the next advancement spot. Typically. Not always, but yeah. Otherwise, you can regress exactly 3 spaces on an advancement track where this is possible. You may gain the benefit and pay to gain the bonus, if any. So, I feel like that one is maybe not quite as strong, but there are times where it could be really good.
Yeah, if you want to, like, especially like on the technology track, if you want to go back for some of those later benefits and get a ton more upgrades and gain the square and circle benefits all over again, that could be really great.
And then advance on any track to match the closest opponent who is ahead of you on that track. You may gain the benefit, but not the bonus. And there's a Tapestry card that's pretty much the same exact thing.
One of my favorite Tapestry cards.
Which can be really fun. Sometimes, like the last time, I don't remember. I think I had the Tapestry card. I don't think I had this. But I remember I needed, I was in position. And I was just like, okay, I gotta take my income.
Yep.
And then right when that happened, you moved up and messed it all up. Because I think there was someone way at the end of it.
We were tied.
And then we were tied. And then you moved up one space, and you were going to be the next highest. I'm like, you messed it up. But that one's really fun.
Yeah.
And then the last one is advance to the next bonus on any track and gain that bonus for free. Do not gain the benefit of or any landmarks you pass.
Which I think that one is probably one of the better ones to start off. Just kind of advance to a bonus, get maybe an income building from that. Could be really awesome. And all those other ones are just really powerful too. Kind of shooting up a track to match an opponent, which in my mind goes to the science track. Kind of skip up to those free science rolls with benefits. So that can be kind of a somewhat early one if one of your opponents does end up going up there, which I think that was the track that you were trying to go up. Even farther than that, I think you were trying. Just a lot of really good benefits.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. This is a solid one. A lot of good stuff. Yeah, I think you can tell that it's probably solid because your opponents get to start with tech cards, which is pretty crazy.
And it has nothing to do with tech. You don't gain anything from opponent's tech. It's just helping them out.
Right. So, yeah, pretty powerful, fun stuff there.
Yep. So our number 2, which is my number 3, your number 4. So we're getting a lot closer for these top ones.
I kind of thought that this one was going to possibly be the number 1 average.
Yeah, because I had... Especially since I just had a really great game with them before we made this list. This is from the Arts and Architecture expansion. These are the Gamblers.
The Gamblers. The Gamblers know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
They had to put that in there.
If you start the game with this civilization, at the end of your first income turn, reveal 3 Tapestry cards. Play 1 with a when played ability on top of the Maker of Fire. Resolve the ability and discard the other revealed cards. If you reveal no valid cards, add 1 of the revealed cards to your hand and discard the rest. At the beginning of your income turns 2 through 4, reveal 3 Tapestry cards. Play 1 with a when played ability on top of the current era. Resolve the ability and discard the other revealed cards. If you reveal no valid cards, add 1 of the revealed cards to your hand and discard the rest. Then proceed to play your Tapestry card for this era as normal on top of it.
So this is kind of like the Recyclers, or the kind of newer, hotter version of the Inventors. These really seem like an upgraded version of the Heralds, like even closer to the Heralds than the Isolations, than the recyclers are to the inventors.
Yeah.
Just drawing 3 cards, getting to play it on the Maker of Fire, which you said just feels awesome. And getting all those wind plate abilities, which I just played with them. And the first card, because we had mentioned it's been a while since I pulled a certain card and played it and possibly screwed some people over. The first card on my Maker of Fire was the Dystopia card, which got me a huge landmark right off the bat.
Right. Crazy.
My first income, which just set the course for the whole game, and I had great Windblade abilities every time that I pulled from the deck. And even if you don't get them, versus the Heralds, where if there's just none out there, you're screwed. This one, you can gain one of those Tapestry cards into your hand, which you can then play in that income turn, which can be just as good, possibly.
So yeah, I would totally agree. It's just fun because I could see you playing this one and having a bad experience because you just might not get wind blades, or they might just be. There are some wind blade cards that just are not nearly as fun. So you could get a little bit unlucky and have that, but it's just the fun of gambling on hopefully we'll have something good. But yeah, there's no guarantee on anything that you pull. So yeah, these could very easily go very wrong against you, and you get pretty much nothing from that. I mean, you get the card, but there's a chance you might just pull 3 bad cards too that don't even help you at all. So I like that part of it where it's not like a guaranteed I mean, I think you could argue that these, at least from our place, have been pretty strong, but
I mean,
I could see where
each
they're
of our
not.
top 5, so obviously we've had some pretty good experiences.
Right.
And I really like the artwork as well, just kind of playing a game of poker. Got the cigars.
Smoking the cigars. Yes. It's a solid look.
Really awesome. But that leaves our number 1, which is also an arts and architecture civilization, which only had 5 in that expansion, and it has the top 2. And these are, we finally have another crossover between our 2 rankings for the
2 in the whole list.
Yep. And it's the number 1, and spoiler alert, the number 31. First and last, we agreed on. Although we didn't actually put this first. We both put it second place. So an average of 2, making it number 1, the Renegades.
Yes. I didn't know that you'd have this that high. But the Renegades choose to forge their own path, advancing in ways that other civilizations cannot, and finding shortcuts along the way. Start with a player token on the start position of the Renegades track. When advancing on a track where you would gain the benefit, you may ignore its benefit and bonus if applicable to advance on this track and gain its benefit instead. If you still gain applicable landmarks, the tier you are advancing into or within must match the tier you are advancing into on this mat. This is the only way to advance on this track and is not considered an advancement track for other cards, abilities, achievements, etc. Reaching the end of the track counts towards the end of track achievement. So, yeah, this one, I was shocked that you had it this high. I guess I didn't expect it.
I actually haven't played with this civilization, but I've been in a few games with it, and it's just always so awesome.
Because, it's so great because there are always going to be those spaces that you don't want the benefit from, and it just feels like a wasted turn going on them. And it's like, oh, this is just a perfect way to avoid some of those spaces. Yeah,
there's always those spots out there where we're like, that spot, I really wish to skip that, roll the science die without benefit. There's always that one spot you're hoping you roll, and this is the way to mitigate that. There's so much control with this one versus a lot of the other civs, like we said, the gamblers. Maybe you don't draw the cards. This one, you have total control over what you do and what benefit you're going to not gain in order to gain these.
Right. And I think all of these benefits are pretty solid. So that first tier, if you skip one of those, you'll get a Tapestry card and one of the landmark buildings of your choice. And the second one, Yep. And then the second tier, you'd get to roll the science die with benefit.
With benefit.
And the tech.
Yes.
Card. And a tech card. You get a tech card. That is huge.
That is.
And the second one. And then the third tier, you get to explore a tile, you get to conquer a tile, and you get to upgrade a tech card. which is just
That's
crazy.
3 amazing benefits.
That is just awesome. And the last one's 20 points, which doesn't seem like the greatest thing.
I mean, I don't know how you
But-
can get much better.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a big chunk of 20
And
points.
it counts towards the reaching
Right.
end of a track, which it gives you a huge advantage because you can just skip the first spot of a 4th tier and get the
Right.
achievement versus other people having to get to the end of the track.
Right, exactly. So yeah, it could be a good way of getting the 20 points plus, depending on how many players you're playing with, another 10 or 15 points from that
Yep.
achievement. So yeah, they're just really awesome. I really like the idea of what they do. Because yeah, not only is it a great idea, but the benefits are also
Yes, they're
amazing.
fantastic.
So I think that was one of the things with maybe some of the expansion ones, at least the top ones that we kind of had there. It was a lot of just those insane benefits, which I think is one of my favorite things just about Tapestry is
Yes.
when you're getting cool things, when you're getting to roll the science die. It might not go your way, but sometimes, wow, I went up that track that I was trying to go up, and that just saved me 3
Yes.
resources.
Yeah, totally.
Or here in this case, you're getting building with, you can skip that. Well, when I like to skip it, the free movement, or not free movement, the movement without benefit on the science track, that first space, you can just completely skip that, get a tapestry card and a building.
It's like
Just
any
awesome.
building you want.
Right, that too.
It is great.
Crazy. So yeah, it's awesome.
It's amazing.
It deserves a top spot, I think.
It does. It
but,
does.
Yeah, so if you watch that and watch all of them, you know how we rank these. Let us know in the comments below. Either you can rank all 31 if you want, or if you've got just the base game or whatever, let us know. Whatever you do have, what your favorite one is. If it's the Renegades, if you've played with the Renegades, or if it's something else. Maybe you got something that we've already said. I mean, like we said, Pepper had his number 1 in our last one all the way down there.
Just missed out.
Just missed out, possibly. So you had to watch that whole video. There's no way to skip forward to see what the last one is. But
But yeah, it's crazy that the top 5 are all expansion.
That is crazy.
Because there's still a lot of really good ones in the base game. But maybe someone doesn't rank them as highly as I do, so they don't quite make the cut.
That's true. My top 4 are ranked 1, 2, 4, and 5. Not in that order, but... so we went with a lot of mine, but yeah, all of our top 5 and actually top 5.
Yeah.
We're all in our top 10s, each of our top 10s.
Yep.
So yeah, we all thought they were pretty solid. So yeah, that was our final part to our ranking of our Tapestry civilizations.
Yes.
We'll have to eventually.
For now.
Yes, we'll have to eventually look at it again, maybe if Jamie comes out with the adjustments to all of them. Kind of makes a mass change in all of them, and also with there's at least a third. It sounds like that'll be the last one, but you never know. A third expansion coming, so hoping that might have a few more civs. And we might have even more to rank. So maybe we'll have to get back and rank these again, or at least rank those new ones when they come out, and then rank them all again when they get adjusted, if they do.
For sure.
So.
If you want to hear us talk more about some specific matchups between these civilizations, check out our Tap Talk series, which I think we have maybe 8 of those released so far, which we just kind of recap a game we had just played just before filming that video, and we just talk about what happened in the game and the 2 civilizations, how they matched up, and their strengths and weaknesses, and our overall thoughts on them, so we can dive a little deeper into the individual civilizations if you want that.
Yeah, and let us know below if you'd want to see, if there's a matchup you'd love to see in a 2-player game, and we would be...
Might have to match up the Renegades and the Gamblers, our 1 and 2.
Oh boy.
Or maybe our 1 and 31.
Or both of our 1s. We'll have to do the Spies versus the Historian.
Ooh.
Spoilers!
Spoilers! Go watch the other videos.
Yes. Otherwise, we hope to see you on some of those other videos, and as always, don't forget to
Keep on nibbling
on our content.